Anything is one of a million paths. Un camino entre cantidades de caminos. Therefore, you must always be in mind that a path is only a path. To have such clarity, you must lead a disciplined life. Only then will you know that any path is only a path.
I'm a warrior from the future, looking at the past, living each moment through life's hourglass. I hold on to nothing, but enjoy everything. I spiral in and out of the Milky Way sacred ring. I carry the blood of my Tata Pancho Villa, y con mi corazón, sueño noche y día. I fly with the eagles and roam with buffaloes. I ride the winds of time, shoot thunderbolt arrows, aim them at your heart with a masterpiece of art. Look into your mirror, that's where it all starts. The pain of generations is deep within my soul. I burn my white sage and my abalone bowl, and I bless myself, send my prayer to the sky. I never ask why, I never complain. The way of a warrior is to always stay sane. Do away with fear so your mind stays clear. Then you deal with power, but treat her like a flower. Her poison will devour and eat up all your soul. 6 feet deep, buried in a hole. Your ego got too high and you lost control. And if you don't die from your own greed, that's when aging time starts to feed. No one can escape man's true fate. No one has the power to tell death to wait.
Both paths lead nowhere. But one has a heart, the other doesn't. One makes for a joyful journey as long as you follow it. You're one with it. The other will make you curse your life. One makes you strong, the other weakens you.
Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Lost Aslan. Lost Aslan Natives Podcast, LA Natives Podcast. What's up, Zero? What up, Armando? What up, Product? What up, brother? I don't remember your name, but we have a live audience tonight, and we always welcome our brothers and sisters who want to come and participate in our intention, right? I want to shout out all the new listeners and viewers trying to win some tickets to this concert coming up. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. You know, this Saturday. It's Saturday, right? Yes. This Saturday is gonna be popping. I mean, I always have respect for individuals, and especially talented individuals and ambitious individuals who represent our raza, and Conejo does that. So, shout out to Conejo. We have a very special underground hip hop artist out of New Mexico. Well, that's where I met him. I don't know if he's from there or not.
Oh, cool.
We'll find out.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a EKYM1536, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So, but you know, that being said,
it's cool. You know what's cool is that you reach out to people that are outside of Los Angeles. You know, not that we are neglecting our local artists.
I think this episode's a little special because we're going back to what this show was all about.
Yeah, reaching out. Right. And then having a special place for our local artists to participate in the same kind of message, you know, the message of unity across the Nahuatl Turtle Island between all native peoples, and not recognizing any colonial borders, even if they exist. We can do that.
Absolutely. And we've interviewed some of the dopest indigenous underground artists you could think of.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
To Dreezus, to Natani, Artson. Man, the list goes Snotty Nose.
Yeah. We go from the top to people who are not at the top yet. You know what I mean?
Who's that other kid? X?
Chutesca.
Oh my God.
Chutesca's fire, bro. I was impressed with him when he did the speech at the United Nations on climate change. Now, I have my own opinion about climate change, but how eloquent, how confident. I mean, and then interviewing him, that was fire too. So yeah, reaching out across Turtle Island, finding the best talent. And if you're on this show, if we happen to interview you, then you're a part of this mission.
Absolutely. And this only motivates me to reach out even further to more indigenous hip hop artists.
Yeah. And when we say indigenous, Armando, I don't want you to shy away from people who consider themselves Mexican. Because you know what? Mexico is an indigenous land. All of it. All of it. This whole Turtle Island was indigenous.
Well, just like how Tochli said, he said Mexico is the biggest reservation.
Absolutely. It is the biggest reservation that everybody tries to take control. French try to take control of it. The Spanish tried to take control of it, and each one of them motherfuckers fell. Why? Because there's a lot of indigenous resistance. They know human rights, and we all need to get back on that plane of understanding, following our heart, because that's the best human rights you can give to a fellow individual. You know what I mean?
Man, and guys, if you guys haven't checked out that Tochli interview that we did, I think either last week or the week prior, man, that was a jaw-dropping interview for me because he has so much game, Zero.
He's
He's a true leader. He's a true leader.
Look, when you think of a CEO, you think of Steve Jobs or that other dude from Amazon, I don't even know his fucking name, Jeff Bezos. And you think of those guys, right? But those guys are tyrannical leaders. Do what I say.
Those guys are vampires, bro.
Yeah, but when you're a good leader, you get everybody involved. You don't make anybody feel less. Everybody contributes, and you're proud of whatever they contributed to. And that's Miklapili. That's his organization. You would not have Danza Group. The Danza Group that he has would not be as coordinated if he didn't show the compassion, love, and guidance that he needed to. And those who did not listen to the interview with Toshli, go listen to it, because he is a really true, smart entrepreneur, and I'm happy that he's in our circle.
Absolutely. And you've known him for well over, 20 years?
Almost 20 years. Wow. When he was in college, we were barely starting as El Vuh. And, you know, the ones that woke up during that time, they really put in work, and they're the last ones standing right now. They're still carrying on, you know, us with LA Natives podcast, Toshli with Miklapili with Toshli Wear, and his circle up there in San Francisco. San Jose.
And that's us reaching out to cats that are not necessarily hip hop artists, but respectfully in their craft, they're just profound leaders.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they all
just
have
in apparel itself. Like, I want to see that booth that he has, because from the pictures that I'm looking at, man, his booth is just,
it's well done. It's professional.
100%.
Yeah, it's professional. All his sizes are organized. It's like a store.
He sells the necklaces,
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Yeah.
He sells it all.
Absolutely. And all of it with the cultural emphasis, something that's going to take, you know, when we buy items like jade necklaces or obsidian pieces, these are pieces that we're taking care of because they're protecting us in some way. You know, those are the type of items that our artisans try to provide for our community, something that you're going to connect with. They put all of their art and love and intention. And that's what Miklapili does with his store, because he knows all the right artisans that know how to craft the jade and craft the feather work and craft the rattles. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's Steve Jobs on steroids.
Yeah.
You know,
and I'm never gonna catch Zero of El Vuh wearing Nike or Tommy Hilfiger, these fucked up ass brands that just brainwash you to buy more and buy more, right, Zero?
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
look at what you're wearing now.
Yeah, that's not my thing. You know, I'm wearing Toshli's wear right here. This is Toshli. Toshli put this out. This was the last Mexica New Year, the year Tekpa. You know, that was the last one before they shut it down. So, you know, he makes incredible gear. He makes it look cool, and that's what I like about him.
And that's what I would think we can encourage all of our listeners and viewers tuning in to, like, just support indigenous artists, especially if they push apparel.
Yeah.
If you listen to a certain indigenous artist and he's releasing a t-shirt or a sweater, best believe be the first one in line. Because, like, why go to the mall and buy that bullshit, right, Zero?
Well, I think that the 1950s mentality of advertising is dying, right? Because they're trying to be more clever, trying to get more followers to follow their brand, but their brand was built off TV advertising, you know? So they're scrambling to get into the social media and whatever other things to make it seem like, you know, when you have that type of advertising, then you have to have a store to go to buy it. And that nowadays that isn't cool. Like, oh shit, you went to the mall to buy that? That's like trendy. Like that's plastic, you know. So when an artist comes out with a design, when an artist comes out with a shirt or some sort of representation of his music of any kind, Jesus with his sweaters, um, Dakota Bear with his decolonized line. We got Toshli with Toshli wear. We got Daniel with a Nawak. We have our brand, you know, LA natives. I mean, that's the new mall. It's a virtual mall. So the most exclusive things come from these people because they don't make 5 billion of them, you know, and put them into 50,000 Macy's across the fucking US.
Put them in department stores.
Right. You know, it's like as you get older and as you get healthier, you start to realize that this cycle of, I have no other word for it, shit is very apparent and people are waking up to it. You know, so be creative, start your line, start your business, and bring it to LA natives so we can add it to our community, because our community is hungry to support these type of businesses.
Absolutely, man. That's real talk, Zero. That's
Well, it's time, Armando. It's like, fuck, dude, we could really be autonomous.
And it's not like we hammer our audience to tell them buy our shirts every day.
I don't remember ever. I mean, we started at the beginning when we first printed them because we were all nervous. We printed a lot of them. So, but
they moved.
They moved themselves. Yeah. Like people are into LA natives, the Lost Aslan, right? Yep. And not because you're lost, right? When you find it, then you become sovereign and you no longer are lost, right? But those that can find themselves within Lost Aslan and help others find themselves, then that's the community that we're building.
Man. So that being said, let's go ahead and bring in our artist that we're interviewing today.
Peace, everybody. Thank y'all for having me.
You go ahead and
Joe, say it, man. Sure
this audio is good. There it is. I hear no echo. Do you hear an echo?
Nah, I'm good.
Oh man. Cool. So is it a EKYM 1536?
Oh, it's EKYM. Yeah,
it's like, okay. Break down the name. Break down the name. It's your name backwards?
Yeah.
Cool.
MYKE EKYM.
Nice.
Yeah, we going through a lot of phase shifts, trying to get the name right, you know, to match the content and whatnot.
That's the beauty about art and its development. You know, one group starts off at one thing and then it ends up being something else. You know, I wasn't always, you know, you develop to be this. You know, my first bands were a K-rock band and a reggae band, and I ended up becoming a hip hop artist. So,
so look, how I met this dude.
Yeah,
I was on pause with an artist by the name of Pause One. I'm sure you know him.
Right, you were on tour with them.
Yeah. So we were on tour. We hit up some dope hip hop spots, man, and I see the homie perform. I'm like, yo, I need to hit him up.
Nice.
He's an indigenous hip hop artist.
Right. Cool. Right.
And we need him on our show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And thank you for accepting the invite, brother. And
oh yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's an honor to be here.
Just go ahead and drop us with a little intro of about yourself.
Oh yeah, well, my name's Mike. Like I said, I flipped the whole Mike thing for EKYM, threw on the number scheme for marketing purposes. You know what I'm saying? You could just straight up Google EKYM by itself. You can't find me, but once you add the 1536, yeah, there you go. It's just like everything, totally me. And yeah, man, 1536. It was basically like a combination of my basketball years. You know, that was my basketball number was 15. 36 being the first time I ever heard like some real raw core hip hop. You know, it was a return to the 36 Chambers, Old Dirty Bastard, Wu-Tang, following that, you know. And it was just kind of like I said, the marketing scheme to make myself stand out instead of just, you know, trying to sort through like a million EKYMs and such.
Was there more than one?
Oh yeah, there's like businesses, people around the world, and you know the enunciation was different too. And yeah, shout outs to my homies out in Florida, you know, Lyrical Perfection. They do like this crazy self-taught slang, man, where they speak everything forward and then they flip it backwards.
Wow.
You know, and then they spit the entire verse backwards. So, like,
Whoa.
the enunciation is insane, though. But anywho, yeah, man, my name's EKYM1536 from the Hickory Apache tribe. Also, Jemez Pueblo out in New Mexico. So yeah, I am from New Mexico. Shout outs to my Southwest indigenous.
That's
Right
what's
on.
up, man. So take us, in your area, man. Like, you were just out in LA. So like give us some big differences, to like lifestyle out there compared to lifestyle over here, especially in the hip hop scene.
Oh man, like I would have to say like opportunity, yo. Opportunity and just like the drive, the fast pace. I mean, there's always something going on in LA. Out here, we plot for like the weekends. And we got to plan around the weekends to throw shows and such. And yeah, man, being out in LA is kind of like where I got my start. We're talking about I heard you guys talking about the boarding schools and such out in Riverside. And another interview, I believe, with like Natani and them. And shouts to Natani. And yeah, man, I started going to school out in Riverside at the Sherman Indian boarding school.
That's crazy.
That's
What,
crazy.
what year did you go?
Oh man, that was like back in 03, 04.
Really? We played as El Vuh at Sherman, at what is it? Sherman, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, Sherman Indian High School.
Sherman Indian. Yeah, we played there as a group called El Vuh around the time you were going there. I'm not sure you were there, but I remember playing a gig there and just tripping on the history of it, right? Like, because it was started by Mormons.
Right.
That school. And it was crazy because they had dorms and one said wigwam or something like that. Like just corny ass native names. I was like,
right.
Where the fuck am I?
Like, friggin' bomb shelters.
Right. No,
are you serious, Zero?
I'm serious, bro. And they like bunked there, and like for some reason, like boarding schools, we knew the history of it, but natives were looking forward to going there, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they were looking forward to go there because they were in probably Oklahoma where nothing happened, and you get to go to Southern California where it's like 30 minutes to Los Angeles, the big mecca of trouble or whatever else you want to get
hip-hop,
into.
Baby, hip-hop.
Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, so
yeah,
I know what it's like to try to be an artist here. And you're right, there's a difference between like New Mexico life and Los Angeles life, because Los Angeles, you can do something on Tuesday. Tuesday's gonna pop. Right, nobody's doing something on Tuesday. It's like unheard of to get that.
You could do something Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
pretty much any day of the week. You can do something here because people are just wanting to go and do an experience, which is different. Because when I went to the Gathering of the Nations out there in New Mexico, I felt like, whoa, culture shock. And like, right as soon as I got there, I was like, whoa, everything's slow here, and everybody knows each other. And it was a great experience, because I saw the diversity of our people, right? Like not all the Indians, right? All the natives, they're not the same. They all have their own regions and customs and ways to do things. And some people think this is cool and this other people don't really trip on the other thing as long as the commitment's there. And I don't know, I learned so much going. A
lot of people refer to Albuquerque kind of like a melting pot because, it's kind of like even though Santa Fe is our capital city, Albuquerque is still the biggest city in New Mexico, and it's like centered directly, perfectly in the middle of the state. So a lot of the surrounding tribes and other like small towns and whatnot, they got to travel to Albuquerque to, get their supplies or get their kicks, go to their shows and whatnot. So.
It was funny. Do you know? I don't know. Maybe this is a corny joke. I hope I don't look bad. But there was a group of natives that were helping us during the Gathering of the Nations when we went up to go play out there. And that's when I met Defy. That's that same tour we went out there. Anyway, Defy is pretty dope.
Shout out to Defy.
And then he's all, oh, we're going to the Gathering of the Nations. I go, oh, shit, I thought we were at the Gathering of the Nations. No, I'm going to Walmart. He's like, I'm going to Walmart because that's where all the, like he said, all the tribes from different places go to Walmart. They call it the
Yeah,
Gathering of the Nations.
yeah,
But
they're
I
like,
was
yo,
at
that's
the event called the Gathering of the Nations, and I tripped me out to hear locals say, "Oh, I'll be back. I'm going to the Gathering of the Nations." I thought, "We are in the Gathering of the Nations." He's all, "No, I'm going to Walmart." I was like,
yeah, that's what they say, like the bootleg malls. You be like, yo, going to the mall for a little bit.
"Yeah, there you go." So,
Yeah,
hey, tell me a little bit about where you get your. Okay, so you're a hip hop artist. I get that. And then,
yeah.
what is your main source of inspiration? What is your message that you try to get through with your art? Is it to be a dope hip hop artist, or is it a message of indigeneity? Is it a message, a social message? What is the
Word.
message that you try to do?
Yeah, then starting off, with you got to build up your credibility, your respect, your followers and such. So you got a style on them, and I'm a part of a bigger group called Potency. Shout outs to the Arrowhead Gang, Potency crew in the house, and based out of Taos anyway. And the, we're like straight up all indigenous hip hop group,
Yeah.
and we
Oh,
used to kind of like just base our throw the message in there here and there, something positive here on every album, but then, still give them something to vibe to,
hmm.
wild out to. And, it was a growing experience. So like I said, starting off, it was kind of like, just writing rhymes to improve your craft and such. And, conveying, little hidden gems here and there versus now, like I got a new album out called The Bricolage, available on Bandcamp, and, it's kind of just like like a self portrait of who I am as an artist, individual, a little bit of trials and tribulations I encountered on the way up, and
And what are
um,
those? What
yeah,
are those? Explain some of those trials, because I know what it's like in a big city.
yeah, yeah,
Growing up in East Los Angeles. But what is it like in Albuquerque, in New
yeah,
Mexico? Albuquerque, New Mexico, right?
yeah. See, where I'm from is called Dulce. It's up on the north side, like central, like right on the border of Colorado, New Mexico, pretty much.
Okay.
So it's kind of a trip being out here in New Mexico. You literally have to drive 2 hours in every direction to get to like a major city of some sort to
Wow.
go rock up. So growing up in native country, Indian land and such, it's like a lot of kind of just looking out into the world through like television, radio, music videos and such, so you kind of just catching like influences from other things already going on like in the bigger cities and such. And like hip hop didn't really come across me like right off the back. I come from a musical background, and they like dabble more so in like classic rock, of course, reggae,
Mm.
jazz, uh, just all kind of like experimental type of musics and such. And like hip hop came across. Um, my mom never really let me used to leave leave the res that much, but finally she started letting me go down to Hamus, Wallathoa, to tap in with my family down there, to kind of get the background. And that's when like I heard the real hip hop, the
Mm.
like damn, what was I like? I was missing all this type, and so like catching off, going down the rabbit hole, looking up artists, features and such, and finding crews like Rhyme Sayers, like Stone's Throw, Mellow Music, like Wu Tang, Boot Camp Click, just a variety of like super dope artists, underground hip hop artists and such. And yeah, like growing up on the res though, it's like I said, you're just looking in, trying to figure out how can I get there, or I want to be there, not here. So
Interesting.
I
Interesting
spent,
how your
Wow.
how
yeah,
your how your parents felt like, or your mom felt like, no, you need to stay here, right?
yeah,
And if we study reservations, they're places where they put us
right,
because they didn't want us to roam. So in a way, concentration camp. I don't mean to
yeah,
talk bad about it. I don't, because I'm sensitive towards everybody's. Because some people feel, no, this is my res. I love
yeah.
this place.
Yeah, I
And
get you because I try to get people to like leave all the time. I'm like, yo, if y'all want to get out, hit me up. I'll try to help you, make a move to get into the city or something.
what's the difference? Let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Um,
no problem.
I mean, I'll love. We're gonna talk about your music along, but I want to get into the psyche of the artist, right? Like, what
Yeah,
is it? that makes you want to leave, that
Yeah.
makes you want to look at your environment and go, man, I need to be there instead of here, right? What
Yeah.
is that? Because I grew up here where people want to come to. I grew up here. And
Right. Right.
we were always like, fuck, let's get the fuck
Let's
out of
get out
here.
of here. Let's go to the quiet country.
Yeah. Well, or,
Yeah.
I wish I had trees around me. I wish I had a park near me, because there's places in the city that doesn't have any of that.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's interesting how, like I said before at the beginning of the show, that the 1950s mentality of TV and this mechanism that's making people believe things, right? That
Right.
it's a certain way over here, right? Just like it makes us, like, for a long time, I thought the res was a place, like a cool camp that you went to, like, oh wow, that's like nature, really, like. But you come back and you
It is. It is. It's tight though out here.
but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but then you look at and you study history and you go, well, what the fuck? That doesn't sound right. Like that doesn't sound like a place where you want to. It's not nature. It's not this place of harmony. It's a prison.
Right.
And unfortunately, um, we as a people haven't recognized that yet. And when we do collectively, then we'll heal from it and know it will no longer be a prison. You know, by breaking a colonial perspective of it. Right?
Right.
It's your sovereign land. Russell Memes, um, John Trudell gave me really deep lessons in how to view perspective when you're coming from a place that is called the reservation, right?
Right.
And so it's dope to see someone like yourself wanting to bring that story out, right?
Right.
Through hip hop music, I'm assuming, because
Right. Right.
I'm not too familiar with it. But I know that when you say you're writing songs that you're dealing with, what are one of those issues? Like, give me an example of what you would write about. You know what I mean? That you're saying, I have some songs that you mentioned earlier. I have some songs that, I'm dealing with some issues, and I have some songs that people party to or want to be in a good mood, right? Not
Right. Right.
party, but different types.
Well, yeah. Like I said, like coming up, you grow more, of course, as an individual and such too, and your perspective change as you get more knowledge. My mother, like back then, she didn't want me to leave the res because
Mm,
she was worried about what was going on outside. He might be too much or whatever. But like as far as like education, she always pressed education. She was like, "Yo, if you want to get out of here, you got to go to school and stuff." So I always took that like 100, and like coming from the res, like I said, looking out, seeing all this crazy like stuff going on. You're influenced by movies, by like you're saying TV commercial ads. You got to go get it,
mm,
that type of thing. You know what I mean? And so you're sitting there like tucked up in these mountains and this secludedness, and you're like, man, you finally start to get to this point, and you're like, you can't really do anything until you become an actual adult, and then you can start doing
right.
your own thing. And it was kind of like at that point, like I kind of just felt like I had enough, like coming up, watching, like several types of addictions flow through the community. You know what I mean? Like the nepotism, the classism, that type of thing going on in our own structure, that's supposed to be our sovereign government. And, like I kind of just felt like I had enough, like like this place wasn't really for me, even though I'm from here, you know what I mean? And I've always had like this like ambition of like, there's got to be something more to it, or there's more out there, like, or I can go out further than I've already been, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, thank you for that really
Yeah.
honest look.
Yeah.
Because as you were talking about it, like, I know it's hard to talk about this stuff. It's not
Yeah.
easy to just share. That's like you asking me, well, what is it like in the barrios in East Los Angeles? And you're like, oh,
Right.
be careful here, because, I don't want to cross any lines, and I don't
Right.
want to talk bad about individuals that I really love, and it's a hard thing to talk about. But as we learn and grow from the truth, right? These conversations become valuable, because I know I've been to the reses myself with
Right.
my music, with ceremonies, and I seen those same things, addictions, right? to
Right.
whatever. I mean, to alcoholism is probably the worst one in my opinion. Although there is a
Yeah.
very large meth epidemic happening in our reservations,
Oh yeah,
and
man.
the suicide.
Yeah,
Suicide's number
suicide.
one. Suicide's number one. I think alcoholism's number two, and then if you want to categorize them or
Yeah.
number them, whatever, they're all bad. The point is that sharing our stories and our experiences, writing about them, and it's not a bad thing to go. I want to be in a different place, because once you're there, once you get to that place, you're gonna remember home. You're gonna want to be home. Because you're
Right.
connected to that land, no matter what. Of course, a bird doesn't stay in a tree all of its life. It wants to fly,
Right.
but something innately draws him back to that place where he was born, right? So I don't know. I just really enjoy your story, and I enjoy your honesty, and I
Yeah.
know you'll one day, as you develop as an artist, those are the things that are the experiences that you write down, right? Those are
Right.
the things that I used, because my story was I'm in East LA and I have no culture, nothing at all. My grandparents think we're Christian, you know?
Yeah. I got some Catholic background as well too. It's kind of crazy though, because you were asking about how I write about that stuff in my music now.
Yeah.
Shouts to my brother H2 Owens out in Miami. We just dropped a project called Native Slang. Actually, the group is called Native Slang, and the album was called Native Slanguage. And it's a collaboration of two cultures coming together, and trying to stomp out the differences, the ignorant like backstories that people portray, you know what I mean, that type of stuff. And
Mm.
we got this one song, I was like, we got to hit them with something serious. And we have the song called Thor, acronym for the heritage of resistance.
Nice.
And like coming up, even in the reservation, they still give you this watered down perspective of Native American history, and
Wow.
they do not put anything of any type of truth in these books,
Wow.
and you got to go looking for it, of course, and then it turns into like a conspiracy theory or some kind of madness. People look at you different when you start looking for the truth and stuff.
Wow.
And I went out there and started doing my digging around, and by being who I am and just like Apache nomad, it's hard to sit still to this day, to my
Mm.
bloodline. So I found myself up in Chicago, linking up with Old Gold Crew and Waffle Gang, and one of the homies out of Old Gold happens to be a Freemason, like through
Mm.
lineage and stuff.
Whoa.
And he started giving me some crazy backstories of like some of the things that they pass on behind closed doors.
Mm.
And I was just like, man, I knew some of these things were true. And like one of the things was like like them supposedly the secret society, Skull and Bones, taking Geronimo's head, grave robbing all the great warriors from
Yep.
different tribes, not just
Yep.
Geronimo and
Pancho
stuff.
Villa. They have
Yeah,
Pancho.
yeah,
Let's go.
yeah, right. So my homie said that they have like skulls in these places where he's been to and met, of like several different like leaders from these native tribes and such. And I was just like baffled. And he started giving me these links and whatnot. And I started going down that rabbit hole. And anywho, I started the verse off with our light is elite, skull and bones at my feet. If you only knew the Renaissance, you wouldn't be so nonchalant. You
Wow.
know,
Pretty
and
cool.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
like how you're interjecting pride. Like, look, they're coming to me. They stole my shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not like, they're going to King Arthur's fucking grave, and doing
yeah,
whatever the fuck they need to do over there.
right.
But
So
our people were mystical beyond understanding, right? Because we chose not to understand. We just chose to experience. And that experience, we carry a little bit of it in our soul, right? It's not a memory in your mind, it's in your
right,
blood.
right,
So
right.
I love how you're pulling from that source. It sounds like, I mean, with those few lyrics that I heard right now, it sounds like you're pulling from that energy. That's dope. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah. So like I said, they always give like a watered down version, and you got to go look for it. You got to go search, and there are certain things that like the elders do obtain and hold, information that is passed through the elders and stuff. And unfortunately, like there's a lot of cultures dying, like losing the language, because of mainstream media. And that's just like how I feel. 100% facts. Mainstream media is just a huge influence on like the future of native heritage. You know what I mean? So like we kind of address that like in the song as well. Talking about just you need to like take pride in where you come from, understand who you are as a person, and your value to this planet, to Turtle Island, to the mother, the earth,
Right. To
and
yourself. To
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, definitely. And then that's what I was gonna 360 to. You were talking about the suicide rate and such, and it's bad. Unfortunately, we just lost a family member like 2 weeks ago to the suicide thing. And there's a lot of people out there like getting mentally ill because of this whole pandemic thing. And I feel like this is just another woe over the eyes, like what's really going on,
Right.
what was really, really going on.
Right. Well,
So,
let's we have to understand that white supremacy, capitalism, um, you know, uh, loyalty to the crown of England, it still exists.
right,
That stuff is like the major. That's what runs this world, right? We have to understand that,
Absolutely.
right? And those challenges that you face in the res with, young souls not finding a place here, they don't feel like they have a place here, or they don't want to be in this place anymore. I mean,
right,
that's something that collectively, as a community, as if we use the word Turtle Island, as if we use the word native, that we should address as a community in whatever fashion we can. We don't need billionaires. We don't need rich billionaires to sign a check for us anymore. We
right,
need to be responsible for ourselves, because when you do that, then you're connecting with your own mirror, right? And then you take care of yourself to your highest potential so that you can contribute to that community. I feel like you do that with your
facts.
music.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough coming up like with heavy the heavy heritage, like it's kind of crazy. Like I said, some of the culture is being lost, the language of anything. And you get to like this point in like your upcoming where you like, for instance, my wife, uh her peeps, she's of Hispanic descent. And her peeps used to speak in Spanish to hide stuff from them. They would talk to them in English.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of became a thing like with the elders in my tribe too. They, hiding stuff, or you're trying to keep something secret, they would use the lingo, but they weren't really like passing the rock,
Mm-hmm.
and like just the way like everything nowadays, the new mediums of today are like taking over and going to people's head, like I'm saying, like the money thing, like the nepotism, the classism stuff. And it doesn't seem like it's that bad, like in native country, but it is. You got like
Well, I mean,
family beefs and stuff like that going on, tug.
if there's elitism and that nepotism that only take care of this part of
Hmm.
the family, or you have to be a part of this clan, or you're not, all that bullshit happened with treaties, right?
Right,
The treaties were made with that tribe, not the mixture of a tribe.
right,
Once the mixture of a tribe happened, then you became less. And you're describing that right now.
right,
You're describing that right now. How they value certain, you know, congregations, I guess you would call them, or whatever, because it's not based on ceremony. It's not based on wisdom like it was in the past.
right,
In the past, you just didn't get a seat in the inner circle or the circle of elders. You just didn't get that seat. You earned that seat. That seat
facts.
was given to somebody who had done things in their life for their community that their community would never forget, and said, "You can make a decision for us." That's the way I feel. You know, you
Yeah,
had to be important because you contributed in a very large amount of your love and energy towards the community that you lived in. That's what gave you voice. But nowadays, it's really about, oh, well, I got a bunch of money now. I
Yeah,
may be the most ignorant person. I make the worst decisions, but as long as my bank account reflects this many zeros, I'm intelligent. I don't believe that. And then you're calling it out right now. Because if it was, then the res would be functioning in a manner that the
yeah,
great leaders of our past, like Russell Memes, John Trudell, Dennis Banks, all them brothers that fought with aim to make their presence known, should have at least inspired community. And we'll bring it back. There's nothing colonialism can do from this point on because of brothers like yourself
And
who are
it,
searching still.
and it's a trip, Zero, how you're describing all this, man. Because at undergroundhiphopblog.com, we just did a full review on their latest album
Mm,
from Native Slang, right?
mm.
yeah.
And everything that you're talking about, it's incorporated in this project, bro.
Yeah.
Like, like, can you break down this project real quick for us, man, and tell people where they can find it?
Yeah, man. Native Slang. You can follow native dot slang on all social media. Make sure it's native dot slang. But on Bandcamp, it's nativeslang.bandcamp.com. And like part of our push with the music is basically we're only vibing with Bandcamp, because they're like the only heads that are giving the artists their paid dues, And shout outs to Yaz and Bay, like he did this whole like rant on like Spotify streams and such. So like we had like this big old thing of like we didn't really want to put it on the streaming services because you don't really get what you. It's either like you reach a brighter, bigger, broader audience, or you don't get paid
Right.
really. So
Well,
like
I mean, to get
yeah,
to those levels
yeah. Oh, shit.
of payment, I mean, you have to be like super big. But
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
The on the blog page, we just posted a meme
Mhm.
of the CEO of Spotify. Can you
yeah,
believe this dude's worth $3.8 billion?
that's insane. I've seen
Yikes.
that post. I've seen it.
Yikes.
He's
Damn.
never made a song in his life.
It goes. I mean, brothers are rebelling like him. Like sorry, like Ek, I want to
Echo,
say
echo, yeah,
Ekim,
yeah.
like Ekim, like they're rebelling against Spotify because,
And that's a great move, man. I respect that to the
well,
T.
here's what I like. Here's where I like. Here's why I like it, because it's an artist move. See, artists, real artists, make statements, and even if the statement is small, at least it's a statement, because 20 years from now, that statement would be like, fuck, dude, they didn't even put their classic album on the stream. You
Right.
know what I mean? But it takes dedication and commitment, to be that. Because I still haven't uploaded my Tonali Nahual to Spotify.
And why
I
would
just
we? And why would we to get this dude rich, more rich?
yeah, it's
That's
after
crazy.
seeing that post, it's like, I don't know if I want anything on that.
Yeah, I just think it's a little insulting, to like here on planet Earth, all we got is time, really. If you
Mm,
break it down, your
mm,
time, what you do with your time, how you get rewarded for your time and such, and it takes a long ass time to make music. I
yeah.
mean, if you're making like the good shit, like yeah, it takes a minute. It takes a little bit of a process to get through to where you got to be at.
Mm.
And I just feel like that has to change in a sense. Jay-Z tried to do the thing with Tidal, but that just kind of turned into another Spotify.
Mm.
So like, yeah,
You
we're
know,
still rebelling in the native.
and that's where it's at, brother. It's in the artist development. It's in the cleverness of, like, some of the biggest bands aren't on, even like when I heard that Tool wasn't on iTunes back in the
Right,
day. Like Tool, like this is I listen to all kinds of genres, but I felt like, whoa, what a statement, that, because at the time everybody needed to be on iTunes if you were going to make any money,
right.
right? And they were like, no, we don't do that. And if you want our CD, you got to go see us play.
Yeah, come
Damn,
get it.
that
That's what I'm
is
saying. Come get
that
it.
beauty. That to me is like, whoa, he's like making a statement. I have I have this idea for an album, and I'm gonna call Unspoken Word, right? It's
Right.
gonna be a production of my beats, and you can only hear the lyrics and the beats together if you go see me live.
Ooh, that's a dope play right there.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that by the time my career is over. It's already in written, it's starting to conceptualize writing. But that's the beauty of art, bro, and keep it up. You know, if you have a statement against Spotify, if you feel a certain way about any streaming music, use that in your social media, and I think you'll find success.
Yeah,
Because
so
only the strong survive, right? Only the ones that said, no, I'm not gonna fucking move in your reservation. Sitting Bull, Geronimo, all
right.
them, they had to fucking really, they had to send out cavalries to get you guys. You know what I mean? But I mean, I really appreciate your art and I appreciate your spirit, brother, and keep it up. You know,
Hell
keep
yeah,
doing what
salute,
you're
man.
doing. You know,
So you
Yeah,
recently been out in LA performing, I believe, at the Do It for Music Festival,
oh, cool.
right. Shouts
and
to own.
right. How was your experience in Los Angeles, man?
Oh, dude, it felt great to be back, man. Like, I just finished up my audio engineering degree last year out in Miami. So,
Mm.
you know, like going coast to coast, it was like two different perspectives, you know. And my homie came out to, I mean, he's been to LA before, but he was his first time actually going out to LA and vibing with the culture, the people and such, and actually really getting into the scene and stuff. And, you know, what I missed most, man, was the palm trees, you know.
Mm.
It was like that mountain too, dog. Like, oh my god, it was, and most importantly, man, the food. That was like the biggest thing for me was like I went fat boy crazy on the food, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I mean, of anything, man. Like I love LA, dude. Like being out there, you know, the art culture as well, though, man. Like wow,
Yeah, if you get into the underbelly of Los Angeles, not I mean, I'm not talking about like fucking, you know, the art galleries in the bougie neighborhoods. I'm talking about
right,
like the real underbelly of underground artists that exist here, like Tumex and fucking Shapeshifters. Um, there's tons out there that are dope as fuck. Their people get styles from them. You know what I mean? Because they're
oh
how
yeah,
dope they are.
Project Load all day.
Yeah, yeah. You see, you've done your homework. So, I mean, LA does have its unique thing. I know it's in its transformation mode where a lot more of these type of artists are going to have voice now because of the independent media that you can generate yourself. Right, with this podcast, we're creating our own little indigenous hip hop music scene. Right,
Right.
that the one thing I love about indigenous hip hop is that it sounds different everywhere. Like fucking Dreeza sounds different from these other cats from New Mexico and LA. Fucking indigenous hip hop sounds totally different from Dreezus, and that's the diversity that we're able to mine from our community is like, whoa, it's pretty dope. So I'm excited about it, and I'm excited that you're a part of it.
Hell yeah, that's yo. What you guys are doing is super fire too, man. I love. He was like, Armando told me, he was like, man, you got the LA Native podcast too, and I was like, what is that, bro? And like, you know, the fact that I wasn't even tapped into that. Then I
Yeah.
went through the back catalog, you know, checking out other interviews and such, and I was just like, man,
Yeah. We've been
this,
lucky. When we launched this podcast, we were lucky, man. We were just like, Taboo hit us up. I mean,
yeah,
we had so many people that were, Dreezus, Snotty Nose, all them,
Natani,
Natani
yeah,
in studio, like the
Artson,
Artson.
yeah. I was gonna say the
Absolutely.
art scene was tight.
Yeah. So
Olmeca,
on Mecca.
man.
It's just and my goal is to with this podcast, and having brothers like you from New Mexico and obviously from so if you know of any other indigenous artists, I know you mentioned a few,
Yeah,
but if any indigenous artists that you know that we can reach out to, please bring them onto our community, into our platform, because we're stronger together. And
yeah.
being able
That's what
to
I
just,
always say, man.
yeah, being able to share your music with our community is a good thing, I think. We've had Mike
Yeah,
Bone. Mike Bone was like Christian rap, like that was,
Right. And for anyone tuning in live or gonna listen to this on Spotify, rewatch it on YouTube, just all you guys have to do is type in native slang on
oh
YouTube
yeah.
or
nice.
on Google.
Native slang
It's
or
native slang, right?
EKYM1536. Yeah, native slang.
Absolutely.
NATIVE slang all day.
There's one thing that I appreciate about this interview. is how professional this brother is and how many times he's dropped his band name, his handle. I mean,
Oh
you're gonna
man,
be successful, brother. I love it.
bro,
Love
you
it.
should have
out.
you should have linked in with the homie H. Lucky H ain't here, man. He be all WVCC in your face. WCC. Shout out.
It's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. I like it. You know, you when you have an opportunity to share your music in Los Angeles, and obviously we don't have hundreds of billions of but our podcasts are known for like the replay. You know, a lot of people hit it up on the replay. A lot of people
Hell
hit it.
yeah.
Especially on Spotify.
Yeah. So I'm glad to be able to expose somebody from New Mexico. I had a great time when I was there at the Gathering of the Nations, and I met all those individuals. I
Now,
mean,
do people perform there?
there's like
Yeah, actually they do. They have a
different places, bro, like different
yeah
clubs. It's like
gathering of
it's like a
MCs.
Coachella, but not really, because it's all about native dancing. Like they go to a big arena and they're like,
Yeah.
different groups go and dance. And
Yeah, there's like tribes from literally all over the world that come out to Albuquerque for that, just for that one weekend. And while they're there, though, that's how I met Artson, how I met Natani, how I met Defy. And, like I said, I rode with the Potency crew out here in New Mexico, and we pretty tied in, but we super underground behind the scenes. And, we in the midst of reformulating to kick out some new stuff. So if you haven't had a chance to look up Potency, that's PO10CEE. There's a whole 20 plus album discography up there. And
wow, it's put in
yeah,
work on that one. Shit,
yeah.
20.
Shouts out to the big brother Dr. Fate, the brother BZ. My brother BZ and I were the ones that collaborated on the Bricolage project that's out now. And surprisingly, man, like, well, not surprisingly, but like LA was like one of the main inspirations behind the Bricolage, though, man. And like just being out there, them late night hours when no one's really out there type shit, that's kind of my feel. And yeah, everybody in the crew, it's a 7-man crew, 2 producers, but 7 MCs. The producers MC as well. And like everybody's doing something. Shout outs. You were talking earlier about native entrepreneurship. Shout outs to my brother Life, Nate Larson, and the God freaking Saba, man. If you guys get a chance, look up Sabaware. He's like super major out here in New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas, pretty much like the surrounding Southwest. And this is the guy that helped put on Pause One when he hosts Pause One shows when he come out here. He hosts
Oh, that's cool.
Do It for Music Heads when they come out here.
Oh, Owen, you guys know
Yeah,
Owen in them. That's
yeah,
cool. Owen, man. He's
yeah.
still
I met
cool.
I
Yeah.
met O when I was out in Durango going to school at Fort Lewis, man, up there.
I hit up Owen, like, and he got super shocked. Like he was like, I was like, "Hey Owen, I wrote this mixtape, and can I play your show?" And he's like, "Huh? What? What? You want to play my? Yeah, fuck yeah, you can play my show."
That's right.
But like I said, I've said this before, but like I was just testing out my material because I hadn't been a solo artist, full on, So I was testing my material at his show. So Owen, yeah, man, shout out to him. He puts in work.
He killed it. He just hosted his I think first annual
Yeah, first.
festival, and it was a smash.
Sweet,
Definitely had terminology out there.
cool.
He had this gentleman here. He had
I seen the flyer for that. I remember
Yeah.
the
that.
whole native slang crew.
Native Slang. We had
Yeah.
OG Willikers, Wolfman Jack, some more New Mexico artists, MC Slater, and Bishop. Oh man, shout outs to them cats. There's some spitters out here, man, in native land out here, dog.
Well, you just bleed hip hop, bro.
Hell
To be
yeah.
honest with you, right, Zero? Just
Yeah.
the way you come across, man. It's all hip hop, right, Zero?
Yeah, I thought I was talking to somebody from New York trying to push his mixtape on someone. No, but that's good. No, that's a good thing to be. Like, if you believe in your art, if you believe in your crew, if you believe in your message, you should be shouting it out.
Right. But let's get into the nitty gritty on the underground hip hop scene out there. Are there a lot of rappers from where you're at?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, Albuquerque is like the melting pot, man. So this is like kind of was like one of the only city you could really see hip hop at, you know, back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And you would have to come to Albuquerque. So, you know, you would get like influences from the East Coast, the West Coast, you know, the South, Midwest over here. So there is a huge variety of stylistic flavors out here in New Mexico's, man. So there's a handful of spitters and a handful of like competition out here, you know, heads all sitting there around the same level, and you know, everybody competes. Like I wish, you know, I wish it was a little more unification, but like the competitiveness has been tight, man, because everybody's been dropping nothing but dope hip hop out here in the past like 2 months, man. It's been tight.
That's cool.
Well, I like the way that you're honest, man. He just said, "Yo, I just wish there was more unification."
Well,
Yeah.
Deep, right, Zero? That's fucking deep, bro.
Well, we all dream of that. We all dream of being in a utopic state with one another, but that's not the reality of things. You know, the reality is it's, you have to be sovereign. You have to be good at your craft and just protect yourself at all times, even from people that have the same color of skin, because brother described a very authoritarian, distorted version of government on the res, and those are their own people, right?
Facts.
Those are people that are distributing resources and, or you know, helping out with whatever they are, with their authority of whatever, you know. But I just don't believe in government sanctioned authority, and I don't feel like that's going to ever get better unless we take our sovereignty back. And that's what I mean. Once you're sovereign, then everything is harmonious. Then there's no need to be unified. The unity comes within. It's like innate, right? Like, oh, don't fuck with him. What are you doing? You know, even if you don't really know him.
For everything.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't really know him, hey, you good? Because this guy over here, this KKK guy, was fucking with you, but we're one people when that happens. You know, like we become a swarm, and it doesn't mean like, oh, I'll see you later. Oh yeah, fuck that dude. Nah, that's there's no place for that right now. You got to find a way to just either respectfully avoid or protect each other, right? But that only comes with sovereignty.
You know, I can only imagine how it is living in Albuquerque, because believe it or not, when I checked into the motel there, because you know, when you're on tour and you're on a budget, you book the most affordable thing.
Absolutely.
Right, Zero. We've all been on tour, right?
I've been in a $6 motel.
We're not famous rap stars here, right?
Like you gotta lay down for like 6 hours anyway.
Right. So I walk into the motel, I check in, and it's like a Motel 6, you know, it's like a franchise, whatever.
Sure.
And then I see a huge ass sign, and it says, "If you're a local, we do not rent rooms to you."
Facts, bro.
And the thing is that me from being from LA, I just thought it was strange. So I hit the attendant up and I'm like, look, I just think can you elaborate on that sign? And she's like, yeah, if you live out here.
Oh man.
And she's like, I ain't gonna fucking rent to you. And I'm just like, isn't that kind of, you know, are you being racist or some shit?
Bias shit. Yeah.
Some bias shit. Because best believe, Zero, if we saw that sign in a Los Angeles hotel or motel, like there will be a uprising.
Protest.
Yeah, that shit would have been burned down.
How are they not going to allow people who live in Los Angeles to rent a Los Angeles motel?
Is there a big drug problem there?
So I had an issue with that. So I was just going back and forth with the lady, and she was just like, "Look, I don't want to rent the room to you." I'm like, "Nah, I'm just trying to, you know, get some proper clarification." So she ended up bringing out the manager. He pulled me to the side. And he's like, "Hey, look, bro. There's a lot of fucking crackheads out here." And unfortunately, we just don't rent out to locals, man, because they burn out our shit. They fucking tear up our rooms.
Yeah, and man, they'll party down all week and just leave.
Can you break that down for us, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying, like, why is it like that out there?
Oh man, you know, just like I'm gonna keep it 100, man. Like, you know, Mexico's just right there, bro, and I-25 is a straight shot from, you know, down in like El Paso, Cruces area, straight up to Denver. You know, like a super highway. And Albuquerque just happens to be the pit stop, man, in which they hit as they come through, dog. And, you know, like back in the day, you know, it used to be a lot worse, man. But you know, they kind of like toned down some. But I guess that was kind of one of the procedures they had to go through, you know, to calm all that down. And like for real though, yeah, locals would definitely take one night way too far. You know what I mean? So they're like, nah, man. If you got an Albuquerque zip code on your ID, they're like, nah, you can't stay here. I'm just like, holy schmo.
Right?
Yeah, that's happened to me before though. When I was in school out in Miami, I came back and I was up north 2 hours. I drive south to Albuquerque, which is like 2.5 hours. And I'm like, man, I can't go any further. I'm gonna stay somewhere real quick. Same thing happened, bro. Motel 6, right off the freeway. They're like, hell nah. you got a New Mexico driver's license. You can't rent to you, bro. And I was just like, and it was in the middle when it was all happening, you know, so I wasn't too sure.
So there it is, bro. They just assume everyone's just gonna burn the motel down on some crack smoke.
Yikes. Yeah, man.
And literally, the manager had to pull me aside and tell me, "Look, bro, I'm gonna give you a discount on the room. I get it. You're from LA. This is probably like a culture shock to you, but bro, like, the owners don't accept any locals. Period. Not even if you're a fucking doctor or lawyer. You know what I'm saying? So
he fucking told you that?
Yeah. So
that is insane.
So he said strictly the hotel you're staying at is for tourists and people from outside of the city.
Wow.
Well, outside of the state.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it wasn't even in the city. Like, if you just live in New Mexico, they just don't take a chance. I remember
it was a crazy
dog,
story.
There's some weird shit out here, man.
What's the name of the 24-hour place there in New Mexico? They're everywhere. They have a yellow sign, black letters, but I don't remember the name of it.
Yellow sign, black.
Man, it was
like the truck stop joint.
No. Yeah, like it was like a diner, dude. But anyways, I had a New Mexico story.
Yeah.
Is that we looked on the wall and we saw something crazy like that. Like, oh, we don't rent to certain distance. And I was like, what the fuck? Where are we at, dude? Anyways, it was like 2 a.m. So we crossed the street, get into a diner. It's just us. It's super bright. And we're with my homie, Morris Torres. We were calling him Morris Torres. He had glasses on. He was all burnt out. And he fucking gets to the thing. And then boom, the fucking, the theme for Dukes of Hazzard comes on.
Oh, shit.
The fuck? Where are we? What fucking zone are we?
Y'all might have been like mid-city or something, midtown.
No, we were in Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, in Tucson.
Oh, we were in that area. I remember. It wasn't New Mexico. It was in Tucson. But anyways, it just reminded me of that. Like that whole "you can't stay here." That it reminded me. It had that whole vibe right there in Tucson.
And isn't New Mexico where everything you eat could have a side of chili?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I tripped out on that.
I remember.
Everyone from New Mexico,
like, green or red.
Yeah, like you can even get chilies on their damn McDonald's cheeseburgers. That's how far they are with this chili thing.
Yeah, dog.
I haven't seen chili.
Like the only state you can get green chili on your cheeseburger, actually.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they got a thing called Christmas where they
got a
red
tour there.
and
We
the
have
green,
to tour
bro.
there.
Christmas chili on your joints.
Yeah,
Christmas.
It's crazy.
Oh my god, that's
Right?
crazy.
Well,
Tis
look,
the season.
well, now's the time to get your voice heard. You know what I'm saying? It's such an honor to have you on our show, man. We're definitely cross promoting here with your scene and you with our scene. Man, it's such an honor, right, Zero?
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for your honesty about your community, because that's what we're after here in LA Natives. We want to know the truth, what's happening in the reses,
Yeah,
you guys are our closest relative. And you're being Apache, right? Are you Apache, brother? You said you were Apache?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know that the Apache, Mexico, the scholars of Mexico are studying the Apache, and they were saying that they really migrated all throughout Mexico's mountainous ranges. They're like really, that was like their main place of hunting and gathering certain plants. So the connection is there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying we're Mexican, because Mexican comes from Spain. That's not what we're saying. We're saying we're indigenous, that we're all one people in Turtle Island, and the migration of Apaches and this connection between LA natives and New Mexico is continuing that communal understanding, right? And the
Yeah,
unity comes within just being able to get along, and maybe agree, maybe disagree on whatever it is, but we're one family, and we welcome you
facts.
to that family.
Salute, man. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
And definitely, best believe down the line you will be rocking at one of our LA Native podcast events.
Oh hell yeah! And
Oh
we gotta
yeah, I'm
go out
with it.
there. Me and Armando been wanting to do a tour out there and maybe do a little something different, because since we're autonomous and sovereign, we didn't have like a plan. We had sub one lecture, Masatzin, me perform. So obviously other locals, for the support.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we might be, crossing paths soon in Albuquerque. That'd be
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, that will be fire, man. Let me know. We could definitely set something up out here.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
There's a lot of since I've been back, I've been making nothing but the dope connections.
right on. Well,
Shout outs to Benny and Jen Bearcat.
Shout out.
yeah, man, absolutely, brother. It was a pleasure talking to you and you sharing your story and your music. And go follow one more time, brother.
Yeah, Ekam,
Ekam.
Ekam.
Oh,
Yeah,
but with
Ekam.
the numbers, the whole thing.
Yeah, Ekam.
Ekam.
Well, yeah, I just go by Ekam. But then
Oh,
like
that's
I
your
said,
stage name.
yeah, Ekam.
But your
Uh,
handle is Ekam
1536.
1536. There
Yeah,
it is. Interesting Albuquerque recording artist.
And for anyone that's here for the Conejo tickets, just make sure you DM us. If you're watching this live, you can't watch this tomorrow or the next day. If you're watching this live and you
hell
want to
yeah.
go to this Saturday's event at the iconic Catch One, make sure you just DM us and tell us, yo, I was watching it live. I want some tickets.
Hell yeah, go see Caneo, man. I wish I could go out there, yo, for real. I got my daughter's birthdays coming up, man. They're like 4 days apart. So like that's next on the agenda. Closing
Right
out the
on,
year on a
right
high
on.
note.
Happy birthday to your family, man. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so
Rosa.
much, man. And yeah, anybody else out there? Another thing I didn't really get to talk about, but Doji Moto Productions. I started my own production company regarding mixing and mastering audio.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Right on. And
you
how
can go to
is that on your page? Is that on your
yeah, you can go to dojimotoproductions.com actually.
Okay,
And
cool.
pretty much everything that I mix, master, and publish comes out there. So yeah, definitely a good place to promote as well. I've been getting a pretty good amount of traffic through there.
Right on. Well, great. I'm glad that you offer your mixing services for other up and coming, underground artists. I'm sure you work with
Yeah, yeah. Like I wanted to put it out there too. Like any indigenous artists that don't have an outlet, don't have any resources or anything, feel free to hit me up. Because I got peoples down there in LA that I went to school with that are like looking to get some work in. To
right on.
get some credibility or people to start going to them to record and such too. So we could definitely make something happen. Don't be shy to reach out.
Perfect. Give us the website one more time.
Yeah, that's dojimotoproductions.com.
Right on.
Yeah, the logo look like this for those out there that are visually with it.
Perfect.
Dojimotoproductions.com.
Dojimoto.
Man, Zero, we have a packed house right now, man. Any last words? Zero.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant for him. Well, I just want to thank EKYM for coming on and sharing the stories about Albuquerque, joining our community, and I'm excited for Saturday, and being able to just to be in front of a lot of individuals who have survived genocide, because a lot of those individuals that are going to be at that show have survived genocide and are of indigenous blood and indigenous lineage, and it's an honor to be able to be a host and possibly share one or two of my new music coming out. And
Yeah.
yeah, brother, I mean, I'll be excited to go to New Mexico and share some interchange energies with my fellow natives from out there.
Hell
Because
yeah.
because our blood is strong, man. We've survived 500 years of child trafficking, human trafficking, the the stealing of natural resources, the mistreatment of water, the mistreatment of energy, mother's radiation. You know, it's time for us as indigenous people, as a community, as one people, to really look in our own mirrors, heal ourselves, and contribute to the healing of our community, because our Mother Earth is ready to heal us. And
Yeah,
so,
buddy.
with that being said, brother, thank you so much for being on our show.
Yes,
And
sir. Thank you for having me.
we'll see everybody on Saturday, December 11th. Catch One, Conejo, Crime Apple, hosted by Zero El Vuh.
DJ Muggs,
Yo, that's a
Soul
lineup.
Assassins, Soul
Yeah,
Assassins,
this is a big one, you know.
Misfit Soto.
And I want to see
Ah.
all the LA native warriors that
Oh
can
man,
show up for support, you know. And
I might just show up, man. Shit.
yeah, brother, that'd be dope, man. Whoa, that'd be cool, you know. So
We got DJ Warlock 1,
oh yeah, DJ Warlock
Ooh,
one,
DJ
shout out.
Survive.
Yeah, DJ
We have
Survive.
Illness performing.
Yeah, dope.
Man, that sounds like a
A
fire
lot,
show, bro.
a lot of dope artists, man. And yeah, thank you, Zero.
Absolutely, man. And so we'll see each other on Saturday. You guys be safe, be strong, be wise. Consult with the 20-day sacred calendar that is available on Ask Technology. Heal yourself, accept yourself, because we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do to protect and build the foundation for the next 7 generations. Ometeo, Tonansin, Tonatu, Tasukamati, Tasukamati. Love you.